You've tried budgeting, you've cut expenses, you've promised yourself you'll pay more toward that credit card next month, yet here you are. Same debt, same monthly minimum, same frustration. What if I told you there's a way to eliminate debt faster without consciously changing how you spend? Without willpower battles, without budget spreadsheets? Welcome to what researchers call passive automation and what I call the lazy payoff hack. Let me share something uncomfortable. Most debt advice assumes you're rational. It assumes you'll calculate optimal payment strategies and execute them flawlessly. Reality disagrees. Researchers at the University of Chicago discovered something revealing when employees switched from defined benefit pensions to 401k plans, requiring active decisions about savings. Many saved far less than life cycle economic models predicted they should. Some didn't join at all. Others participated at minimal levels. Why? These weren't financially illiterate people. They simply faced what behavioral economists call bounded rationality combined with self-control problems. Here's what that means for your debt. You know you should pay extra. You intend to pay extra. But when the moment arrives each month, competing priorities emerge. Car repairs, birthday gifts, that unexpectedly high utility bill. Your brain operates on what psychologists term mental bandwidth. Think of it like RAM in a computer. When you're managing a tight budget, which describes most people with debt, that bandwidth gets consumed by immediate concerns. Researchers found that financial constraints themselves make decision-making more difficult. The tighter your budget, the more mentally taxing each choice becomes. This creates a vicious cycle. The debt you're trying to eliminate is actually preventing you from making good decisions about eliminating it. There's another problem. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's a predictable human behavior pattern that emerges from what economists call hyperbolic discounting. We heavily discount future benefits compared to immediate costs. Paying an extra $100 toward debt today feels painful. The benefit freedom from debt in 3 years instead of 5 feels abstract and distant. This matters because willpower-based debt strategies fight your brain's architecture. They require you to overcome built-in psychological obstacles every single month. Most people can't sustain that effort. We need a different approach. Richard Thaler won a Nobel Prize, partly for documenting something you already know intuitively. Money isn't fungible in our minds. What does that mean? Imagine finding a $100 bill on the sidewalk. Where does your mind put that money? Found money, fun money, windfall account. Now, imagine receiving a $100 bonus in your paycheck. Different feeling, right? This money feels more serious, more responsible. Same $100, different mental category. Thaler called this mental accounting, or tendency to categorize money into separate mental buckets based on its source, intended use, or how it makes us feel. Traditional economics says this is irrational. Behavioral economics says this is how humans actually function. Here's the crucial insight. Mental accounting isn't a bug. It's a feature we can exploit. Research published in Marketing Science examined how people treat savings versus debt differently. The study, titled The Red and the Black, found that people maintained separate mental accounts for these categories, even when financially it would make more sense to combine them. Another study found that when individuals received new credit cards, they created distinct mental accounts for each card. They didn't treat their total debt as one fungible pool. Instead, each card occupied its own psychological space with its own rules about spending and repayment. This matters for debt elimination because it means we can create specific mental accounts that automatically channel money toward debt without it feeling like we're sacrificing from our regular budget. The key is making these accounts automatic and invisible. Picture this scenario: you buy coffee for $3.75. Your bank rounds the purchase to $4, automatically transferring 25 cents to a separate account. You didn't notice the extra quarter. You certainly didn't miss it. But over a month, those invisible quarters accumulate. 60 purchases means $15 automatically saved. A year, about $180. 3 years, over $500. Now redirect those roundups toward your credit card debt instead of savings. Research on micro-investment platforms demonstrates this principle powerfully. A study of users found that 59% made regular investments using automated roundups, and 80% reported the platform helped them save money they otherwise wouldn't have saved. The behavioral mechanism is brilliant. Each individual roundup is small enough to avoid triggering what researchers call payment pain, the psychological discomfort of parting with money. You don't feel the loss of 25 or 50 cents the way you'd feel a $100 payment, yet the cumulative impact is substantial. Here's how to implement this for debt. Most banks now offer roundup features. Typically, you enable it in your mobile app. The process takes perhaps 2 minutes, but here's the critical step most people miss. Don't let those roundups sit in a savings account immediately and automatically apply them to your highest interest debt. Set up an automatic transfer on the first of each month. Whatever amount accumulated in roundups gets sent directly to your credit card as an extra payment. The beauty? You're not changing your spending behavior. You're not exercising willpower. You're not even thinking about it. The system operates invisibly in the background. One important detail: make sure you're applying this to extra principal, not just advancing your next payment due date. Many credit card companies default to the latter, which doesn't actually reduce your debt faster. Call your card issuer to clarify this point. Nobel laureate Richard Thaler and researcher Shlomo Benartzi created a program called Save More Tomorrow. The concept was elegantly simple. Instead of asking employees to save more money now, which triggered immediate payment pain, they asked employees to commit to saving a portion of future salary increases. The psychology is powerful. A future raise doesn't feel like your money yet. Allocating it before you receive it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. You're not reducing your current lifestyle, you're just preventing your lifestyle from inflating as much when your income increases. The results were remarkable. At the first company implementing this approach, 78% of eligible employees enrolled. Almost all remained in the program through multiple raises. Average savings rates increased from 3.5% to 13.6% over just 28 months. By 2011, more than half of employers offering retirement plans had adopted automatic escalation features. Now, apply this to debt. Next time you receive a raise, even a small one, commit now to directing half of it toward debt elimination. Not the entire raise. The other half still improves your current lifestyle. Let's calculate the impact. Say you earn $55,000 annually and receive a typical 3% raise. That's $1,650 extra per year, about $137 monthly to commit half, roughly $70 monthly to extra debt payments. You don't implement this now. You implement it when the raise takes effect. This eliminates the psychological pain of reducing your current spending. You're simply moderating the increase in your future spending. Here's what makes this powerful. If you have $15,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest, making minimum payments might take you over 30 years to pay off. Adding just $70 monthly could reduce that to less than 9 years. Adding $100 monthly under 7 years, the key is automating this before you receive the raise. Don't wait to see how the extra money feels. Don't plan to manually make extra payments. Set up the automatic transfer before your first increased paycheck arrives. This leverages what researchers call precommitment, making binding decisions before temptation arrives. Ulysses had his crew tie him to the mast before encountering the sirens. You're setting up automatic transfers before lifestyle inflation whispers its seductive song. Research on mental accounting reveals something fascinating about windfalls. When people receive unexpected money, tax refunds, bonuses, birthday checks, rebates, they place it in a different mental category than regular income. It feels like found money, and found money gets treated with less financial seriousness. One study examining Swedish savings app users found that the factors influencing people to start saving differ dramatically from factors that help them continue saving. Starting required optimistic expectations, continuing required satisfaction with experienced outcomes. But here's what matters for debt. People overwhelmingly spend windfalls rather than applying them to financial goals. Why? Because the windfall itself feels like a reward. Your brain wants to use rewards for immediate gratification, not for the abstract future benefit of debt reduction. The solution isn't willpower. It's creating an automatic windfall capture system. Here's the specific implementation. Identify your predictable windfalls. For most people, that's an annual tax refund. For others, it might be quarterly bonuses, annual profit sharing, or regular gift money. Now, before receiving the windfall, commit to splitting it. Half goes to debt, half goes to enjoyment. This is crucial. If you commit to applying the entire windfall to debt, you'll likely fail. The deprivation feels too severe. Your brain will rebel. You'll rationalize exceptions. But half, that's psychologically sustainable. You're not sacrificing enjoyment, you're just balancing it with financial progress. The mechanics matter enormously. Set up your direct deposit, so the windfall, your tax refund, for example, automatically splits into 2 accounts, half to checking, half to a designated debt payment account. Then, before you even see the debt payment portion, it automatically transfers to your credit card as principal reduction. Research shows that making these decisions in advance before the money arrives dramatically increases follow-through. Once the money sits in your checking account, even for a day, you'll begin developing spending plans for it. Those plans will inevitably expand to consume the entire amount. Let me illustrate the impact. The average tax refund in America is approximately $2,800. Applied once annually to a $15,000 credit card balance at 18% interest, that single windfall payment each year could reduce your payoff time from 30+ years to about 12 years, even if you change nothing else. Add that to your round-up payments and salary escalation, and you're looking at potential debt freedom in under 5 years without any conscious sacrifice in your daily life. Here's a technique most people never consider. It exploits the irregularity of actual spending versus budgeted spending. You budget $200 for groceries. You spend $187, that $13 difference. It typically vanishes into general spending without conscious awareness. Now imagine capturing it automatically. This is called a sweep account in banking terminology. At the end of each week or month, automation identifies leftover funds in various budget categories and sweeps them into debt payment. Several banking apps now offer this functionality. The mechanics work like this. You establish spending targets for categories: groceries, gas, dining out. The app tracks your actual spending. At month's end, it calculates the difference between your target and your actual spending. That difference automatically transfers to your designated debt account. From there, it automatically applies to your credit card principal. You didn't actively save that money. You didn't exercise discipline. You simply spent less than your category allowed, perhaps because gas prices dropped that month, or you ate out less frequently due to a busy work schedule. The automation captures that accidental frugality and weaponizes it against your debt. Research on automatic savings programs consistently demonstrates that people save dramatically more when the process operates invisibly. A study published in the Journal of Political Economy found that people who automated savings achieved substantially higher accumulation than those who intended to save the same amounts manually. Why? Manual saving requires repeated acts of willpower. Automatic saving requires one initial setup decision. The same principle applies to debt acceleration. One setup decision, configuring your leftover sweep, creates a system that captures hundreds of small payment opportunities you'd otherwise miss. Let me address something important. Everything we've discussed involves small amounts. Roundups of quarters and dollars, modest portions of raises, halved windfalls, leftover sweep amounts that might total $30 one month. You might be thinking, this seems insignificant. My debt is $15,000. What difference will an extra $40 monthly really make? This reaction is predictable. It's what behavioral economists call hyperbolic discounting, combined with magnitude neglect. We undervalue small, consistent actions because they don't feel proportional to large problems. But mathematics doesn't care about feelings. Consider compound interest, except in reverse. When you reduce principal on an 18% APR credit card, you're not just reducing the balance by your payment amount, you're eliminating future interest on that principal. An extra $40 monthly on $15,000 at 18% interest saves you over $9,000 in total interest payments. It reduces your payoff time by nearly 18 years. That's not insignificant, that's transformative. But here's what makes these automated strategies psychologically sustainable. You don't see the progress daily. You don't track it obsessively. You're not white-knuckling through deprivation. The system operates in the background. 6 months pass. You check your credit card balance during a moment of curiosity. It's dropped more than you expected. The automatic payments have been accumulating invisibly. Research on behavior change demonstrates that sustainability depends on reducing decision fatigue. Every time you must actively decide to make an extra payment, you're consuming limited mental resources. Eventually, you'll experience what psychologists call ego depletion. Your capacity for self-control diminishes with use. Automation eliminates decision points. You decided once during setup. Now the system executes indefinitely without requiring further willpower. This is how you defeat debt without defeating yourself. Let me give you concrete next steps. These aren't suggestions. These are specific actions you can complete this week. First action, enable roundup features in your primary checking account. Most major banks offer this through their mobile app. It takes less than 5 minutes. Set the roundups to transfer weekly or monthly, whichever your bank permits, directly to your credit card as extra principal. Second action, identify your next predictable raise or cost of living adjustment. Right now, today, set up an automatic transfer for half of that increase. Even if the raise doesn't occur for 3 months, establish the automation now. When the increase hits your paycheck, the system will already be configured to capture it. Third action, list your predictable windfalls for the next 12 months. Tax refund, annual bonus, holiday gift money. For each one, set up automatic splitting, half to checking, half to debt payment. Contact your HR department or tax preparer to enable direct deposit splitting if necessary. Fourth action, if your bank offers sweep functionality, configure it for your primary spending categories. Set realistic targets, not aggressive ones. You want the sweep to capture genuine leftovers, not create artificial deprivation. Fifth action, call your credit card company. Confirm that additional payments apply to principal reduction, not simply advance your due date. This is critical. Some issuers default to the latter, which doesn't accelerate your payoff. These 5 actions require approximately 90 minutes total. That's 90 minutes to construct a system that could eliminate years of debt servitude. Here's what you're not doing. You're not creating a restrictive budget. You're not cutting out pleasures. You're not relying on willpower. You're not fighting your psychology. Instead, you're harnessing it. You're using automation to work with your brain's limitations rather than against them. 25 years of behavioral economics research has taught us something crucial. Humans are predictably irrational. We fail at tasks requiring sustained self-control. We struggle with abstract future benefits. We undervalue small, consistent actions, but we're also predictably systematic. Give us clear implementation instructions, remove decision points, create invisible automation, and we can achieve outcomes that seemed impossible through willpower alone. Your debt didn't accumulate through one massive purchase. It accumulated through countless small transactions you barely noticed. Your debt elimination won't happen through one heroic payment. It will happen through countless small automated transfers you barely notice. The difference? The small debts happened accidentally. The small payments happened systematically. That's the lazy payoff hack. Not laziness strategy, not willpower. Architecture your debt is fighting your psychology. Build a system that fights back. The techniques described here aren't theoretical. They're derived from peer-reviewed research published in journals including the Journal of Political Economy, Marketing Science, and academic publications from institutions like the University of Chicago and behavioral economics research centers. The Save More Tomorrow program alone has helped millions of Americans accumulate billions in retirement savings. The same behavioral principles, pre-commitment, automation, mental accounting exploitation, work identically for debt elimination. You don't need to become a different person. You need to build a different system. That system starts today, not tomorrow today. Because every day you wait is a day of accumulating interest you'll never recover. Set up one automation today, just one. The Roundup feature takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes to begin changing the trajectory of your financial life. You've already spent 11 minutes listening to this, spend 5 more implementing it. That's how lazy people eliminate debt. Systematically.